Okay, hello? Is it coming through now? Yeah, it is. Alrighty. What's up, guys? Today was quite the day, quite the day. But I said hello to everybody that came in. I just wasn't audible at the time. Alrighty. Uh, Man, today was without words. Today was pretty dang good. There's no way to describe this day. I mean, I was expecting this. It wasn't like it was out of nowhere. My targets were spot on. We shorted from 10,272. We took profit at 9,371 and we longed at 9,328. Actually, let me double check that. I don't want to give you false numbers. Let me actually sign into the Bybit. I did actually make a Bybit account that is strictly for the streams, so I can start showing you guys trades. And this was the first trade that we've actually made on it. Actually, no, there was a couple before that, but this is just a really old account that I kind of screwed off on the beginning. But we did, so it was actually 9,412 because I took a DC afterwards because I messed up. I didn't put the full amount in, so that kind of skewed it, but it was very, very low. So that is what we're working with. So today's daily, so this is a 5K account that we just started today. Well, back when we made this first trade. And that was today's profit was, oh, well, just reset, but made 500 bucks off of that trade. Now we're currently in a long and we're currently up 55% at the moment. So we're doing fantastic. We really are. I'll go ahead and get the chat popped out over here. Fish, get off the chair. We're not going to start this. Thanks, Chunks. Appreciate it, man. Hey, what? Do not bark. People going in and out of the house are not dangerous. You have seen them hundreds of times. Nothing has changed. Has there ever been a day where someone has walked in the house and you have barked and it's been for a good reason? No. No, they have not. Okay. That was my pep talk to Fish. Yes, you can see Fish. All right, Fish. You get your 5 seconds of fame. Say hello to the camera. Hello. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. Well, yeah, man. I did not expect it to happen that fast. I was literally I was playing video games after a couple sessions, and I was just taking a break, playing Overwatch, and I looked to my right side, and I'm like, damn, I'm up 80% now. That's awesome. And I think we were right about here. And then it went from 80% to 120%. I'm like, well, I'll be darned. And then we got to right here, and I was like, well, we should find support there. That's a pretty good support. And then it just smashed through it. And then we hit this one, and I was like, well, that should be a good support. It should probably find a good support there. And then it just kept going. I ended up with about like 200% or so off of like a $250 trade. A little bit over 200%. So it was fantastic. How do you join the Telegram, Kite? In the description, there's a Patreon link to my Telegram. It's 50 bucks a month. If you want just to pay one time, you can do $450 in crypto, or you can do $500 on Patreon. And what that gets you is access to the Telegram and the Discord for a lifetime, as well as I might have to start capping the sessions because just a bunch of people are coming at me now that I'm making better and better calls. But you'll get as many sessions as you need until you feel confident in trading on your own. Obviously, I'm not going to say no if you want to call me for a hot second. But usually, if you've had more than 5 or even 10 sessions, you're not grasping something quite right. You know, usually after about 3 to 5 sessions, people got it. They have the trading plan. They know what they need to do. It's all about putting it into practice. But if you've had 10 or so sessions, still not getting it, you really got to go back to literal basics. Because I mean, what I teach is very simple, very very simple. FBI sold 4,000 Bitcoin from Silk Road today. That helped. That's amazing. My sister actually works in government contracts and bids, and they are actually buying Bitcoin under the rug, so to speak. Uh, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but that's one of the reasons why my sister was very adamant in learning how to trade Bitcoin and getting into it in the first place, because she saw the back end. They might be selling Bitcoin right now, but you better bet their bottom dollar they're doing it for a purpose. They're going to be buying back. So, but I'm glad they sold today because it made me money. Oh, yes, it did. So I'll be keeping you guys up to date on this account right here. I don't want to show the email address fully, but I mean, I already did. That was one of the reasons why I never showed an account in the first place. But this one, I don't care if someone hacks it. I've got two-factor authentication on it and all that jazz. But this will be the account where I kind of show you guys my positions, proof of trade. That way, I'm not causing FOMO in terms of you guys risking more or anything like that in order for you to catch up or anything. Because I think 5K is it's kind of the average from what I know from the people I've taught. So I feel like that's going to be a good thing to have. Let's actually put some music on. I had to restart my computer because every single thing on my computer was not working right. But we're nice and dandy today. Oh, that's coming through my speakers. Go ahead and change that over, turn it down a little bit. So in just a second, I'll talk about where I'm thinking it's going to go next. I know you guys are probably waiting for that too. What was that one song I heard today? I think it's called These Roads. Augustin, what's going on, buddy?
I mean, I get the hustle, and I get the stacking paper part. I don't understand the bitches and all that shit, though.
Thank you, Thunderbird. I appreciate it. Kite, you think long to 10K and short again? I'll talk about that in just a second. Likely because it's Windows. Nah, I don't think it's because it's Windows. I've been using Windows for, what, 10 years now? I'm not saying that Windows is without its faults. It's definitely with its faults, but just weird glitches sometimes. Literally like once a year. But, so I am long from, well, I guess my account says 9,412. But I am kind of hoping that it gets back up to, let's go ahead and go out to a 2-hour. So this is the channel that we're actually working with right now. We have kind of a broadening wedge between the 8-to-1 Ganfan and the 2-to-1 Ganfan. That's why I took my long off the 2-to-1 Ganfan. You can see that we have a couple touches here, couple touches here, and then finally that kind of sealed the deal that this is actually a appropriate support. Usually 2 touches is good enough, but a third one is just kind of confirmation that you can't deny. So we have a broadening wedge. So what that means going forward is I'm simply going to be shorting the top and longing the bottom, nothing complicated. So, but since it's a broadening wedge, it actually does have a lot more likelihood to break out to the upside. If so, I would actually assume that once that happens, we can go ahead and take this bottom pivot here. If it ever does get down to this range and make that big of a pattern, this would actually be the target. As of right now, you can only use from top to bottom here. I'm just estimating if this actually does work out. So it could go on for much longer. It doesn't quite have to break out by the end of March. I am actually hoping that this pattern extends itself all the way out until April, May, June, until we get to the 2-to-1 Ganfan on the macro. So I'm going to change my terminology when I'm talking about these. So obviously you guys know macro, medium, and micro, but I'm also going to be saying things like 8-to-1 negative, 8-to-1 positive. What I mean by that is if it's a downward sloping Ganfan or an upward sloping Ganfan, that way I don't just say 8-to-1 and you kind of have to just do the math real quick and figure out which one I'm talking about. So 8 to 1 negative and 2 to 1 negative. Those are our supports and resistances that we are going to kind of be bouncing between. So we do have 1, 2 rejections off the 4 to 1 Gonfan. So that is actually like a secondary resistance. So the way I play these types, where you have like 2 resistances, is this is going to be the main resistance that I short off of, the 4 to 1 Gonfan. But I don't deny the fact that it can get up to the 8 to 1 Gonfan. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting in swing shorts off the 4 to 1, but I'm going to be leaving room for DCA around the 8 to 1 Gonfan just in case it does wick up to that. One example of that, let me see, is over here. So we had the 8 to 1 Gonfan here. If this is going to let me do it. We had the 8 to 1 Gonfan here, but we also had some other resistances like right here. I forgot what this looked like, but I think this was the 4 to 1. And I was like, okay, the 4 to 1 is going to be the resistance I short off of, but I'm going to set my stop loss above the 8 to 1. Obviously over here, the 8 to 1 is much further away. So if you do try to set your stop loss based on that, it's not going to allow you. What I'm going to be doing is setting my stop loss up above the 8 to 1 Gonfan whenever that 4 to 1 Gonfan arises. And my hope would be is that it continues going up. So what I'm going to be doing is adjusting my leverage to my stop loss as the trade goes along to whatever my average entry is. And that way I'll just add back more position, get my leverage to the greatest potential I can, and let it come back down. If we do actually break out sooner rather than later, this would be the target. So if we actually break out to the upside, you know, maybe we collect support on the 2 to 1 positive of the medium time frame pattern, that would actually be taking us up towards the 8 to 1 Gonfan for a possible test. So we'll see how that goes down. A couple reasons why that actually might be the case is that is our strongest support right here. I know it's not quite, you know, that pretty. So we'll go ahead and take this 2 to 1 Gonfan. It's not that pretty, but it's all right. It will work. So that is kind of a strong support there. So it could be a possible collection point for this to stop dropping and kind of start pumping to the upside. So we'll see how that goes down. This, I mean, we just dropped, so there's no major pattern forming. I can't really call if it's going to continue upwards or if it's going to have a continuation pattern downwards. We'll see as it goes along. But for me, I simply long the strongest supports and resistances. Well, short the resistances, long the supports. That's my game plan. I've been limiting myself on indicators lately, which has actually helped a lot in my trades. So another thing that I want you guys to be aware of is that I am going to try to find every single trade that I can possibly make. Because I run this Telegram group, because I make these live streams, people have this hunger for trading. But my personal advice would be is if you aren't in the Telegram group or if you can control yourself, search for trades that are better. And what do I mean by that? If you have if you take every single trade that comes your way, most of them are going to be like 2s, 3s, maybe a 4. And then sometimes you'll get lucky on a 10 to a 20. I would say make sure that you kind of set your parameters, because if you only take trades that are 6s or above, that means that your not your win percentage, but your profitability is going to be much higher because you're not taking as many trades, but the trades you're taking are more profitable. So if you do win one, it will be much greater to your portfolio than a 2 or a 3. So that's one of the reasons why I was kind of just not trading, scalping as much, because I'm just trying to find those trades that are absolutely tremendous. And we got the breakout trade here. We shorted the 8 to 1 Gonfan. We set our stop loss above the 1 to 1, and we just kind of just let it ride. We didn't screw with the plan. We didn't say, well, this is looking like a bullish pennant. It's going to break out to the upside. We're going to 11K. No. We short the resistances. We do not long resistances until we are past said resistances. If you can follow that, Yes, sometimes you will get stopped out because it continues pumping. That has happened many times, but it is not something that you are willing to risk. It's not something that's going to benefit you. This stuff happens all the time. If you can identify that, like right here, drop, right here, drop. If you can find these supports and resistances, obviously some of them take time to form, and you'll get a couple good trades out of them. You just kind of have to work with what you're given. But from this point right here, you were able to form these Gone fans, and you could have had everything you needed in order to go forward. So, Universal, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Crypto Pope, there's always going to be a new trade. It's simply, I tell this to everybody, trading is dead simple. If you can find a trading plan that works for you, that is simple and profitable, you will have a great time with trading. The hard part of trading is the psychology in between trades, where you might convince yourself you're in the wrong trade, or you might be seeing a kind of a pattern that might say we might go to one side or the other, and that gets you out of a trade. Once you set the gears in motion, let it go. If you lose, you lose. But find good trades that if you do win, you will absolutely kill it. So that's my advice to you guys. Hi, Kite. Didn't you have a short with a take profit at 8.5? No, I had a short from 10,272, and my take profit was a little bit lower because I was expecting something else. But upon last night and this morning, I said, okay, well, we have, support here and support here. What is this? This is the 2-to-1 negative. Looks like a strong support. So I'm going to take my profit. I'm going to long it. What happened? We took our profit, longed to the absolute bottom almost. So it's little things like that that can really help you. Seth, what's up, buddy? Seth made a lot more than I did today. And, when we were talking, this weird feeling came over me, and I was like, we're talking so weird. Because he made a huge amount, and I made a huge amount, but my amount was smaller than his. And I was like, I only made this much today. And it's an astronomical number. And I was like, oh, God, we are so blessed. Because I say, well, I only made this much today. But the amount that I made today is more than what most people make in 5 to 10 years. Working at a, minimum wage job to a middle class job. And it really just set things in stone for me that I really need to stop complaining about money. I'm very lucky to have you guys and have this opportunity to make this much. It is hard work. It's a lot of time you have to put into it. But trust me, if you give it enough time, if you give it 5 years of growing a small stack, you will start seeing what I'm telling you about. At some point, it just becomes monopoly money. And it's a good and bad feeling. You feel this, you don't have that stress of paying your bills because you know that they're going to be paid. But it also comes with a lot of not benefits. Well, what's the word for not benefits? Cons. It teaches you that, that old saying that money doesn't make you happy. You don't understand it until you have money, because when you're growing up and when you're working, when you're young, that's what you're striving towards, so that you can have this better life. And then if you ever do get the chance to benefit and actually see those types of numbers, it really is, it takes it down a notch. It teaches you that things aren't, so, cut and dry. Have you tried using Renko blocks? No, I have not. How did you catch that long? It happened so fast. I identified my supports and resistances beforehand. I was proactive, not reactive. I identified that the 2-to-1 Gonfan was a very strong support and that the 8-to-1 Gonfan was a very strong resistance. Once we got down to the 2-to-1, I longed it. We're at the 0.618 right now. So that is actually a very good support at the moment. Right now, we are stuck between the 3-to-1 negative and the 0.618 at the moment. And actually, if you have a drop and then a descending triangle, it actually has a little bit higher chance to break to the upside. So we can go ahead and just kind of draw a target off of that. Fish, stop, buddy. Stop. Did you long this time already? Yep. We are in a long right now. We're up 51%. We longed at 9,412. I longed at the very bottom. I longed right here, but I didn't get the full amount in because I just miscalculated. But then I put in the second trade a little bit later because I moved up so fast. So it came out to about 9,412 for my long. I'm actually gonna, I have to transfer out some of the cash from this. So you guys need to get in the habit of when you guys make big wins on your Bybit accounts, take the money that you don't need in there and transfer it out. What that will help you do is that will help you limit the odds of you going into a gambler type nature. So let's say you have a $5,000 account. 5% of that is 250 bucks. Okay. So if you have $250, you only need a maximum of $500 in your swing account. If you have more than that, you might end up using more than more than 250 bucks. So keep yourself controlled. Make it harder for you to make wrong decisions. What's my target? Well, if this is actually turning into a descending triangle, my target would be the 4-to-1 Gonfan. It could stay steady for quite a bit of time as well. It could stay steady for the rest of the night. I don't think we're going to get any more exciting price action. But I actually do think that the 2-to-1 Gonfan will hold just because of this and this. So that kind of tells me that that is a strong support. So we'll see how that works out. Maybe we will end up breaking out to the upside right here and testing 10.9 to 11K. Hey, get out from under there. This weekend I'm building a new PC. I think some of you heard that I bought a 1080 Ti and I can't put it in my system. I thought I could put it in the second card slot and then use the 1080 Ti for streaming or whatever, because I fully water cooled it, so everything's kind of stuck together, and I lost all the screws to my 1080 Ti's reference cooler, so that's kind of out the window. So I can't take it out of my computer, and I don't want to drain the loop because that's a lot of work. So I'm just going to build a new PC this weekend, get it up and running. So if anything goes wrong and I don't have a PC to work with that day, maybe on Monday, I might have to skip a stream, but we'll see. I'm pretty good at computers. I should be able to get it up and running, but we'll see. What would you advise to learn the meanings and functions of these fans? So it's really just time in the market, being able to trust these fans. You know, if you just started using Gonfans or fib retracements, there is a level of trust in the technical analysis that you have to acquire. Because, you know, we were dropping pretty fast. You know, to some people, it might just look like we might continue dropping all the way down to zero. But it's those moments of trust in a Gonfan, or trust in a support, or trust in a resistance that allows you to make these amazing trades that most other people won't make because they have to wait for some other indicator to tell them what to do. That is the benefit of using support and resistance. It is real time. you have that opportunity to get the exact bottom. You have that opportunity to get the exact top where nobody else does because they're waiting for the VWAP to cross or the RSI to give a divergence. It prevents you from doing certain things. That's why I teach you guys that supports and resistances come first, and indicators come second. Sometimes I will completely ignore indicators and I win. You know, sometimes they look completely bullish or completely bearish. This was a really good example for some of you. You know, I was even saying, you know, the RSI is looking like trash, the MCB is looking like trash, the stochastics looking like trash. I think this was, you know, this support is going to break. But even though the indicators were saying that, I didn't short it. I said, I'm going to hold my long until this support right here is broken. And it didn't break. We got a massive bounce off of it. And I was able to even take a DCA off of that. So it's those little decisions that add up over time, where you convince yourself to do something and it gets you into a stupid position. You need to lessen that over time. Yeah, DCAing should only be done within patterns. Like let's say down here, for example, let's say you shorted right here. You tried to short the 8-to-1 Ganfan, which is no shame. And you should have been stopped out, but you didn't set a stop loss, but you're too stubborn to cut your losses. So what you'll end up doing is you'll end up taking DCAs all the way up this. And yes, it did come back down, but what if it didn't? What if it didn't come back down? Or what if you were waiting for it to get all the way down here again before you took your profits? Those are the types of situations where you need to learn to cut your losses and flip to the opposite trade, or else you're going to get stuck in positions. If you are still within a pattern, it is okay to DCA because you are still within a structure. But if you have a breakout, there is a target on that breakout that it is trying to get to. And if you are trying to work against that, you're just fighting the current. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Fish, what is up, Kyle? Hey, what? Stop. 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 No. He got a whipping today for barking, and he's still barking. Did you create the current Ganfan from the bottom first or top? The bottom came first. So right here was the bottom. Right here was the top. So you have to square your chart. So that means you take the bottom pivot and the top pivot, and that gives you this point right here. All right, we're hitting the 30-minute mark. So these feel so weird to be so fast, but I mean, we talked about everything we need to talk about, answered some good questions, and we're off on our way. I appreciate your time your time tonight, guys. Tonight was, well, today, yesterday, everything was good. I couldn't have asked for a better trade, a better community. I got so many thank yous, so many. One dude was like, "I'm not trying to kiss ass, but you're really good at this." And those types of comments. Like I said, guys, I don't win every single trade I make. I make sure that I set myself up for beautiful positions. And yes, most of them might not work out, but when they do work out, they completely erase your losses and set you up for future ones, allowing you to move forward in profit. That is what it's all about. And if you can increase your win percentage by doing different things, that will only amplify what we are doing here. I probably win maybe 50% of my trades, but I make sure that every time I win one, it is absolutely monumental. So thank you for coming on this ride with me, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. It's been a night. It really has. Crypto Don Juan, I am sorry. What's up, man? But we're actually ending the stream, but it's only 30 minutes. You can rewind it and put it on 2x speed. TL, thank you very much. I appreciate it, buddy. Oh, also another reason why I took my long here was this was the 0.5. I forgot to mention that. Your strongest fib retracements are your 1, 0.5, and 0, and 1.618. So just remember that for future And what this could be doing actually is forming a gigantic descending triangle. So we could actually break to the downside coming up here soon. What do I mean by that? I mean, let's kind of delete this purple line here. And let's assume that this is the top diagonal and this is the bottom support. Or even, let's just go with this to make a even better target off of this. So we'll go with this right here. So that would give us a target whenever this breaks out, pretty much onto the 4-to-1 Gone fan. So that's another thing to watch out for, guys. This could actually form a descending triangle. It could actually drop further. So everybody that's kind of shooting for the moon right now, take a step back. Just play the pattern how it's supposed to be played. Don't assume that something is going to break or something is going to fall through. Play the pattern, get the most out of the pattern, and then play the breakout. Don't hope. Play. That's my final words. All right, guys. I was the only one on YouTube that was even considering we were moving down. That's awesome. I mean, it was kind of in front of your face, to be honest. Not only were we sitting still below the 8-to-1 Gone fan and the 1 fib retracement, that's just a simple thing. But we also had a bearishly diverging RSI for quite a while. We had a negative slope on money flow. We had a hidden bearish divergence right here. Stochastic RSI was starting to get rejected around the 60. So, I mean, even the indicators were saying it. So, I don't know. Rafa, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I'm your trading guru. That's awesome, James. I appreciate it, buddy. Hopefully you get that confidence to trust your technical analysis, because it really is you, okay? Nobody else. Once you're able to trust your own charts, that is what sets you apart from other traders. If you're always relying on somebody to tell you or, give you advice, that will only hinder you. Yes, you could be listening to good people and they can be making the right decisions, but you're not learning anything. You're not focusing. You're not critically thinking on what should happen or what could happen. All this stuff. When you can sit down every single day and not watch a single YouTube video, look at your chart and make an accurate decision, that's when you know you've made it. And obviously, it takes some time. It doesn't happen right away. I've been telling this to a lot of people. It's a kind of like a study. Law of vibration, I think that's what it's called. But it's the act of things going into confluence or into synchronous with each other. So one of them is you put a whole bunch of pendulum clocks on a wall. And at first, they're all going to be swinging at different speeds. But after a certain period of time, they start to swing at the same speed. What I'm going towards here is that you are the clock. The market is the wall. You need to stick yourself to the wall of all the great traders and give it time in order for you to start swinging in synchronous with the rest of them. That's what this market is. That's why I tell people the one thing that differentiates me from other people is not my knowledge, but just strictly time in the market, sitting, not sitting on my computer 12 hours a day, but looking at the charts consistently every single day and trying to think about what could happen or what is happening. And over a period of time, it kind of just clicks and everything just starts working. It's literally that simple. I know it sounds ridiculous. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, but it's really just that. Time in the market. That's why I focus so much on making sure that you guys aren't gambling and not wasting your accounts, because if you waste your account, you give up and then you're out of the market. But the longer you can stay in it, even if you're losing, the better. So that's why you should keep your tuition costs low by not utilizing the entirety of your account when you're first starting off. Simple things like that will help you stay in this market longer. So I appreciate it, guys. You can't predict, only react. You can predict. You can predict. To a certain extent. To a certain extent. LG, what's going on, buddy? And hasta la vista too. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna hop off. It's been a great night. I appreciate it very much. As always, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you guys want to sign up for the Patreon or the one-on-ones, send me a text on Discord. Link is in the description to my Discord and as well, not my actual Discord channel, but my Discord account where you can PM me. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna start saying goodbye. Augustin, thank you very much. I appreciate it, buddy. James, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Twin Records, good morning, man. And also good night. Yeah, the shorter live streams are definitely going to be helpful for a lot of people. So I appreciate everybody that has not complained, about not having me for 2 hours. Johnny K, thank you very much, man. Danny W, thank you. QP, thank you very much, man. Legal, have a good night. While I'm saying goodbye, let me pick out my goodbye song. They just break it down, repress and sell you the truth. Then just scan it, digitalize and Photoshop the proof. Manipulate all our dreams, call it deja vu. X-ray our every movement on the CTV2. Broadcasting the same shit from Vancouver to Beirut. The road to the pyramids filled with truth. Yes, this song. Drew, have a good night, man. I appreciate it. Twin Records, I'm hopping off, man. Just rewind the live stream. It will be there. We talked about everything. You can turn on the 2x fast forward motion thing just to get through everything faster. But I'm off for tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow. I thought today was Friday for a second, but I forgot it was Wednesday. But I'll see you guys. Goodbye.
Lately I've been stressed out, I'ma be alright though. Move a mile a minute, cause any day I might go. Can't take the cash when the coffin hit the ground. So I'm blowing all this money like I'm trying to cool it down. I ain't never had shit but a dream, and the mama telling me I can be anything that I wanna. I don't watch television, got enough bad news. If you back me in a corner, I do what I have to. If you see me doing well, it's because I went and got it. Making something out of nothing, turning problems into profit. Man, impossible is nothing if you treat it like it ain't. That's why I treat it like it ain't. I don't know, it's just the way I am. My eyes bleeding red until the AM. Hallelujah, I still moving when the day end. All my demons chasing me, I gotta slay them. I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. They tell me to relax every time I tell them no. They confused cause I'm heating up but still I'm hella cold. It ain't coincidental that my dentals never show. I ain't got a lot to smile about until I get the gold. See my standards so high but I'm sitting so low. Forget how they used to treat you, that's a big no-no. Watch the body count climb when we kill them with success. I need everything and nothing less. I don't know, it's just the way I am. My eyes bleeding red until the AM. Hallelujah, I still moving when the day end. All my demons chasing me, I gotta slay them. I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. patient. One last thing, I like singing sad songs. That's how I deal with depression, so don't clown me like that's wrong. I'm not less of a person, cause I talk about my feels. If I never ever did, how the fuck could I be real? This that motivation music, yeah, I wrote it for myself. Cause when I start feeling low, no one can save me but myself. This for me, I know who I am inside. Still I'm working like I'm never satisfied. I don't know, it's just the way I am. My eyes bleeding red until the AM. Hallelujah, I still moving when the day ends. All my demons chasing me, I got to slay them. I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. Everything I love been flying away. I just kinda feel like dying today. Yeah, that's how I feel, that's how I feel.